Ladies and gentlemen, you join us on one of the most momentous days in English football. The 50th Women's FA Cup final taking place today at Wembley between Manchester City and Everton. And that is some of the players just having a little look around there on the pitch. And it has been now 547 days since the last Women's FA Cup final, which took place way back on the 4th of May 2019, where we, of course, ran out 3-0 winners that day. Now, today, both clubs are aiming to lift the trophy for the third time. The Toffees are in their first final since 2014, while City have won both their previous finals in, of course, 2017 and 2019. And this is We're Not Really Here. I am joined in the studio today by Kyle Walker. We are at the Etihad, but don't worry, we have plenty of people down on the ground at Wembley as well. So let's head over there now.
And obviously there aren't any fans here at the moment, but that doesn't mean we're any less excited for today's game. I'm joined by Caroline Oatway
and Aoife Mannion
for exclusive pre-match content right here from Wembley.
So yes, we do have the team down on the ground at Wembley as well. Now, we are going to be trying to go live back and forward to Aoife and to Caroline and to Abby. So you do need to stick with us because there's a lot of technology going on here today, isn't there, Kyle?
There is indeed. But as we said, they're over there at Wembley, and it's the Etihad South that we like to call it as well. And I think this is just an incredible day for the Manchester City women's team because this is a weird one that it's this season, but it's last season's FA Cup. So they could actually win 2 FA Cups this year. If they win it today and win it at the end of the season as well, I mean, that's going to be a trivia question for years to come, isn't it? So, yeah, it's very exciting.
It's going to be like one of the all-time quiz questions. Which team, or you know what, fingers crossed, if we go ahead and win today and then win, obviously, this year's FA Cup, which team won 2 FA Cups in the same year? You can see it now.
Definitely. But as we said, what a day it is, the FA Cup. We're going to hear, hopefully, from some of the players later and some of their memories. And I think that that's something that you grow up. The FA Cup is one of those days that it's very, very special, whatever game it is. We've got youth FA Cup action as well tomorrow. And whatever age you are, whether it's the men's game, the women's game, the FA Cup means something, and that is what is so special about today. There's not going to be any fans there, which is a little bit of a downside, I guess, because the fans want to be there, they help, and we know that, but the players are getting used to it very, very slowly, that there's no fans there, even at Wembley, and hopefully we can have some success there with fans or without.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, it's so unbelievably exciting to be in an FA Cup final, but the fact that we can't be there supporting them, we know that everybody that is watching from home today, you'll be feeling exactly the same as us as well, just wishing that we could be there to support them. The FA Cup has so many memories for so many of us, watching it as a child growing up, but for me as well, the fact that there is now going to be so many young women that are watching this game live today, seeing some of their heroes at Wembley in an FA Cup final. I mean, it's absolutely huge for women's football as well.
It is, indeed. And when we talk about the FA Cup, all of those memories that we've had, but then I think what is very, very special for each of these players is they get the opportunity to win some silverware so early on in this season. Even though it is last season, we've said that. How much would that actually spur them on to go on to more success throughout the season? And we can actually come now and give you the team news for today's FA Cup final. It's Ellie Roebuck in goal, and then we've got Demi Stokes, Steph Horton, captain today, Alex Greenwood, Lucy Bronze, and then we've got Kira Walsh, Sam Mewis, Caroline Weir, Rose Lavelle, Ellen White, and Chloe Kelly. And then substitutes, we've got Karen Bardsley, Karima Benamer, Gemma Bonner, Laura Coombs, Jill Scott, Georgia Stanway, Janine Becky, Esme Morgan, and Jess Park. And obviously managed by Gareth Taylor as well. That starting lineup then, so some names that I know and I've worked with, which I think is, they're brilliant. Ellie Roebuck is someone that I've worked with quite a few times with Manchester City, and someone put it up, she put it on her own Instagram actually, someone had put up that They remember her debut to today, and it's incredible to see her story and see how she's actually commanded and taken that first team position and now playing in an FA Cup final. I think that's very special.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a few youngsters in that team as well. We know Chloe Kelly as well as mentioned this week as well about how it's been her dream. So to be so young and to already be playing at Wembley. And for me as well, it's wonderful to see Lucy Bronze in the starting lineup as well. Now we're going to go back over to Wembley now with Abby and Caroline to get their thoughts on the team news.
Yeah, hi guys. We're here at Wembley. Obviously, team news has just come out, Caroline. It's very exciting here. So obviously we've got Ellie Roebuck in goal. I was looking at that back four. We've got Demi Stokes and Alex Greenwood both in that back line. Obviously, Alex playing centre half with Steph. And then, as we expected, Lucy Bronze there as well. That looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's credit to Alex that, she's pushing Jem Bonner out of the squad because, she was in absolutely fantastic form before this. To have Demi and Alex, I mean, what quality there on the left-hand side. And, you've got the skipper in Steph, like Lucy Bronze is the first name on the team sheet. So, yeah, it's really interesting, actually, that he's going to play her as centre-back. But I think also there might be a bit of use there for the set pieces.
Yeah,
she's a free kick specialist. She takes the corners. So that could be something that's used as a threat as well. So, yeah, exciting.
And then, obviously, you can't have an FA Cup final and not play Kira Walsh. She's anchoring there in midfield. I mean, it's weird because we talk about the likes of Steph and Ellen who are there and that they're sort of the experienced members of the squad. But Kira's experienced, but she's still really young. But you couldn't not start her today, could you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kira's a City fan. She's absolutely living the dream for every one of us. I mean, stepping out onto this Wembley pitch as a blue, wearing that shirt. I mean, is there anything better? She scored in the FA Cup final. She knows what it's about. But yeah, it's been said before, she's so integral to this team. She sits there right there in the holding midfield role. She can spray it about 50-yard pass, 10-yard pass. She's got incredible vision. And I think as a City fan, when she steps out on that pitch, she's got a little bit of something extra that just makes it all the more special for her.
And such an intelligent player as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's been said before, as I say, she's absolutely integral for club and country. And yeah, she's definitely got a footballing brain. She doesn't like to be in the limelight. She's actually really, really shy. And she just likes to get on with it. In her mind, she's just doing a job like we all are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't leave her out today, that's for sure.
And we were chatting before about, because we were trying to work out, we kind of guessed that Chloe would be starting, such an exciting young player, but we were wondering who was going to play on that other wing. And when I saw it, I was kind of surprised that Rose was starting there, but also not at the same time. So how do you think she's going to fare today?
Yeah, well, she's obviously not had the game time that she probably would have hoped for when she first started. She was injured when she was at City. She had the 2 weeks of quarantine, so it took her a while to sort of get into the squad. But since then, we've tried her in a few different positions. I don't think we've seen her anywhere near her best.
No, I agree.
They've tried her in the forward role, and today obviously she's going to be on the left, and she loves driving at players. She's so attacking, really creative, and yeah, looking forward to seeing her on that side actually. Because as you say, Chloe was pretty much guaranteed to play on that side. Lauren Hemp probably would have, had she not been injured. I think she's been a real miss this season with her pace. But yeah, really exciting to see what Rose can offer on that side as well.
Especially linking up with Caroline Weir on that left-hand side, because Caroline, she's obviously had a few setbacks. She's had a couple of concussions this season, so she probably isn't where she maybe wanted to be at this point, but it'll be interesting to see that link up.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, she's not hit the heights that she has in previous seasons, and I think she'd be the first person to tell you that. But she can pull something out of the bag. We saw it in the Manchester derby. Absolute rocket smashed into the back of the net, and she's also really creative for trying through balls and things like that. And I think maybe Gareth might swap Chloe and Rose as well.
A few times
in recent
games,
because it gives Chloe the option. Then she can either drive down the byline or she can kind of cut inside and curl one into the back of the net.
Hopefully we'll see one of those. And then we've also Rose's best friend Sam Mewis is also starting.
Yeah, the Tower of Power. She's such a presence. She's made such an impact. I mean, her first training session, she had 1 hour on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday she scored a goal and created 2 assists. She's huge. She's
so chilled out as well, but she's so calm. But also, I think it's probably helped not having fans in the stadium as well. But she, not just a presence physically, but she really shows her frustration if she misplaces a pass or if she's not happy with something. You hear it.
Absolutely. She's an absolute perfectionist. I actually interviewed her after the first game when she got 2 assists and a goal. She was like, I wasn't really that happy with my performance.
And
I'm like, okay, fair enough. Well, excited for what's to come in that case.
Well, that's what wins you a World Cup then, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
And then obviously we've got Ellen up front. So that's looking good for us. I'm so excited to see what we do today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you very much, Abby and Caroline. Oh, I'm so jealous seeing them standing next to that Wembley pitch there.
There's something just so special about Wembley and just being there and actually seeing what the backdrop is. And I've said this before, it's such a beautiful stadium. If you ever get the chance, or hopefully when fans get back into stadiums, just to be in there and appreciate what it actually looks like and the aesthetic of the place, it's incredible. It's got so much history. Even though it's the new Wembley, it's got so much history there still. And this is going to be such a big game. The Women's FA Cup final. It's a huge one.
I'm getting full-on goosebumps, chills down my arm now. And of course, it's just such a long time ago now that the competition started way back in August 2019. 300 clubs entered at the start. And of course, the WSL teams come in the fourth round. So to get to the final today, we have taken on and beaten Manchester United, Ipswich, Leicester and Arsenal. So let's have a little recap on our road to the final.
Oh, that's a mistake. I'm sorry to cut you short because the opening goal is Manchester City's. Ellen White gives Manchester City the lead. White looking for a second, and that is devastating. And Manchester City are too clear. City trying to win it back, and they do so. Oh, it's in, and they've got a third goal. Jill Scott played it. Brilliant free kick, 1-0 Manchester City. Superb free kick that. You could sense it was coming. She was so focused. To cross all the way to the near post. White is in there. Puts it back to Lewis, and Manchester City are back in the lead. And Sam Lewis gets first goal for the club. And Manchester City are going back to Wembley for the FA Cup final.
So I think it's fair to say we have worked pretty hard to get to this final. Thinking back to that draw way back now for our first fixture against Manchester United, I remember when the ball came out of the hat and I thought, oh no, we don't. I didn't want to be playing them at that time. Of course, they'd beaten us in the Conti Cup. They were on a great run because they just sort of joined the WSL. I didn't want to play them at that time. Like a derby game in like your first round of the FA Cup.
It's one of those fixtures where obviously we love derbies, but you think, oh no, are they going to get one over us so early on in this competition? But obviously, Man City overcame them, beating them 3-2. And when you start against a rival like that, then actually it's one of these fixtures where you just think, oh, right, we've got the confidence now to go on and to actually just beat them.
Look at that Jill Scott finish there.
I mean, incredible. 76th minute, the 2 goals before by Ellen White as well. I just think you look at those ones and you think, all right, now we've got that confidence, we can get to the final. And here they are.
And I know I was listening to a shout out to the Official Supporters Club. I was listening to the brilliant Fancast podcast that they do this week. And the Ellen White celebration for the second goal I know it was incredible. And I know that you all watching thought that celebration was really monumental for the club. So that was a really important moment.
Yes. And then in the next round, we've got to talk about this one because Manchester City beating Ipswich 10-0. Yes, 10-0. Hat-tricks from Pauline Bremer, Jess Park and Georgia Stanway meant that Manchester City beat the Tractor Girls, with Laura Coombs adding the other to ensure interim manager Alan Mahan made it 2 wins out of 2 in emphatic fashion. I've got to say, 10-0. I mean, goals galore. That's what you want, isn't it? Just what can you do? The goalkeeper might as well go and take a break.
It was a real FA Cup fixture, that one. You know, the ones that you like to see, the sort of the smaller teams drawing, you know, the really big teams. And that was a huge game for Ipswich. And they brought fans up to Manchester for that game as well. And it was, you know, it was brilliant. And they, you know, regardless of the score, they put up a really good fight for a team that is, I think 2 or 3 leagues above them. And for me, that is what the FA Cup is all about.
It is indeed. And then imagine you come off the back of that, you've won 10-0, you're thinking, oh, who have we got in the next round? And then we've got a 7-month break, all right, because of obviously everything that is happening. Football did stop, and it put a little bit of a pause to the FA Cup run. But we came back in winning fashion, beating Leicester 2-1 away from home. And I just feel like any team that can come off the back of winning 10-0, and then they can actually take 7 months out and have a global pandemic in the middle of it and then come back into FA Cup action and win to continue the run. I think that's just very special, and it shows how hard they are working away and behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we went on after that for our semi-final game against Arsenal. Now, it doesn't happen very often with Manchester City women, but I reckon going into that game, we were probably the underdogs. We probably weren't the favourite to win that game. Arsenal were, of course, in incredible form. But then when you've got somebody like Steph Houghton on the pitch, she just pops up in these huge occasions with the experience that she's got, and just pops up in the first half and scores an incredible free kick.
I mean, you look at that and look at her skill, and you think against Arsenal as well, and you just think, I mean, they're a good team. Arsenal are an incredible team. And for Manchester City, when it was equalised, Jordan Nobbs made it 1-1, and then Sam Mewis steps up 3 minutes later, I'll add, after that Arsenal goal to make it 2-1, and then survive the rest of the second half as well. Against a team like Arsenal, which I will say, they're very, very good. I mean, it just shows, once again, the strength and character of this team. And I just feel like that's one of those performances. Again, they'll be full of confidence. And now here we are, 15 months later, after the first game at the final.
Yeah, absolutely. It might be a little bit of an inconsistent season so far in the league, but when it comes to the FA Cup, as I say, it feels like because we've got so many really, really experienced players. Obviously, we've got young Chloe Kelly there. We've got some young players in the squad as well. But the experienced players, it's like when you get to occasions like this, like a semi-final of an FA Cup, like a final of an FA Cup, they know the importance. They know how to switch it on. And like you say, 15 months after that Manchester United game, here we are at the final. And to imagine being on that pitch right now, warming up. But we are going to hear now, we do have the thoughts of our wonderful manager. Here is Gareth Taylor.
Gareth, FA Cup final day, they don't come much bigger than this. How's everyone feeling?
Feeling good, feeling excited, looking forward to the kick-off and seeing what comes afterwards. But yeah, really looking forward to it.
Gone for the suit today, I see?
Well, a bit smarter than normal, but I think the disappointing thing is obviously not having our family, friends and our loyal supporters here with us today. So that kind of feels like a little bit more normal in terms of match day attire. But yeah, I think it's the disappointing part is obviously not having our supporters here today. I think outside of that, it's a great occasion and one that we're really looking forward to.
Can you talk us through the team news today?
Yeah, a couple of little tweaks. We've made a couple of changes, but again, the opportunities for players to perform is there, and they've all been knocking on the door. The training's been really good. The build up to it has been key, and I don't think the game's necessarily won these days with 11 players on the pitch. I think it's a squad effort, particularly with the rule change as well. It gives us opportunities to change things or enhance things, so everyone's got their part to play.
As favourites, is there a bit of pressure on City today? Is it a free hit for Everton?
Potentially, yeah. I think when you come to a final and in one-off games or quarter-final, semi-final, we've seen some of the teams fall by the wayside in the quarters and the semis. We were probably expected to be in a final. Fortunately, we've done the job of getting here, and now we're obviously favourites, but we're fine with that. We know there's an expectation, and we need to deliver.
Any nuggets you can share from your team talk? What you're going to be telling the players before they go onto the pitch?
Very little between now and the kick-off, to be honest. We've done our work. I'm very much about keeping things very familiar, no matter what the game is. And although this is a big game, we try and keep to our normal processes. And it's very much the girls' opportunity now to go and lead on the pitch. And
you had a message from Good Luck yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, Pep's been great. He's. I saw him about 2 weeks ago at the CFA, and first thing he said to me was, "When's the final?" So and then sent me a message again last night after having had a busy day, winning so well at Sheffield. So that's great. It feels like the support is really there, and we share the highs and the lows when one of us is not got the best result or we get a good result. So it's great to know that those guys are back there watching at the CFA today on their recovery and are right behind the team. But the messages of support have been great.
Thank you so much, Gareth. Best of
No
luck
problem.
today.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah, so we spoke to Gareth there, and it's been difficult for him actually, because starting during a lockdown when you haven't met your players yet and you're actually being introduced to them over Zoom, that's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not what any manager wants in the start of their coaching career, but yeah, it's been tough. I mean, as you say, introduced to the team over video message, and then you don't get to actually get them on the pitch for a couple of weeks. When they do come back, they're not in peak fitness. They haven't played for months. And then you're trying to implement this completely new style. A lot of players have only ever played under Nick Cushing.
Yeah.
And not only, as all the COVID restrictions and everything, but you're trying to implement this completely new style with the team. So it really has been tough. And I think the pre-season games helped putting those things into match practice.
And the players have said that he's actually probably a little bit more strict than Nick was. But Nick was a little bit more chilled out, wasn't he?
Yeah, you ask any player what the biggest difference between Nick and Gareth is, and they're first, he's really strict.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, fair enough.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, when we were recruiting for a new manager, the team wanted to go to the next level, and I think that's what's needed. And whenever you speak to the players, everything they say is that they can see what Gareth is trying to do.
Yeah.
They might not necessarily have worked in terms of results just yet, but they've all properly bought into what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
They can see how every little detail actually contributes to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So they've really, really bought in, and that's encouraging.
And they've said as well, with him being a player and then coming in, it means he gets it. Like, he understands how they might be feeling if they're not in the starting 11. He knows. It's like sometimes they were saying, oh, actually, maybe I wouldn't want to do gym after doing that session this morning, or I wouldn't want to eat my lunch at this time if I was doing this. So he kind of has that aspect of it, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first question he was asked in there when he was unveiled to the team was, what time's breakfast?
That sounds about right by them, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, he totally gets it. He's played here at Wembley. He's played on the big stage. Like, he knows what it's like to be left out of the team. He knows what it's like to have a really good run of form and want to keep that building. He knows what a good day is like. He knows what a bad day is like. And I think that helps with the respect of the players as well. He's been there. He's done it. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, so speaking about him playing here, it's a bit weird today, isn't it? Because so obviously he's played at Wembley. He's now women's manager. He played alongside Paul Dickoff, Kevin Horlock. It's both of their birthdays today. Is that the stars aligning to tell us something here?
Well, I hope so. I mean, they both scored on that day, and he played a part in both goals. So
I mean, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I'm quite superstitious. I'm always looking for good omens. That might be a little bit of a tedious thing. We'll see, but as long as it's not quite as dramatic as that, I hope that it's a good omen for today.
Definitely, and obviously Everton. Got to talk about our opposition today. So they beat Chelsea to get here. So it's not going to be easy.
It's not going to be easy. I mean, they've had an absolutely fantastic start, and it's so brilliant to see another team sort of like going up there and competing, because it has been the top three for a long time, and it just shows how far this league has come. I mean, you've got the best players in the world coming to play in the WSL. It's not something that you necessarily would have thought would happen 20 years ago, but it's just brilliant, and yeah, a lot of familiar faces in both squads. So that obviously adds a bit of intrigue in subplots and whatnot. So yeah, as I say, fantastic start. Willie Kirk's a brilliant manager, and he's really passionate about developing young talent. We've seen it in the previous clubs. We've had the benefit of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just really pleased to see a team like Everton doing well this season.
Definitely, and I think soon we are going over to the studio to talk about the Everton team news. But obviously, like you say, we've got a lot of familiar faces in there. So guys, talk us through that.
Thank you very much. I cannot believe that I didn't know Paul Dickoff and Kevin Horlock were born on the same day, but we do have Paul Dickoff here in the studio. Here he is. So, Paul, a big happy birthday to you, and of course, a big happy birthday to you, Kevin. We never forget your goal, even if some people do.
I mean, we've not got a cushion of Kevin. We've only got one of Paul, so
we definitely need to get Kevin Cushion to make this up, don't we?
Right. Let's go through this Everton lineup. This is how they do line up today. Sandy McLeaver, and then they've got Ingrid Mo Wald, and then they've got Danielle Turner, Megan Finnegan, Ricky Savecki, Damaris Igurola, Izzy Christensen, Hayley Rasso, Lucy Graham, Nicoline Sorensen, and Valerie Govin right there. They'll be taking on Manchester City in the Women's FA Cup final. And we'll also talk a little bit about their journey to the final.
Oh, I'm glad you've done your research, Kyle.
Oh, always. You know me. So I'm on route to the final. In round 4, they beat London Bees 1-0. And then they beat Bristol City away from home in round 5-0. Quarterfinals, they did take on Chelsea. They beat them at 2-1. And then in the semi-final, they won 3-0 against Birmingham City. So they'll be full of confidence, Natalie. As we said, both of these teams, it's been a very long time since that round 4 fixture. 15 months later, they're here. They're at the final. We've seen how both of them line up. And I think the main talking point is that Izzy Christiansen, obviously used to be at Manchester City as well, she starts for Everton today.
Yeah, of course, Izzy Christiansen, who spent 4 wonderful years here. I remember being absolutely gutted when Izzy Christiansen left. She was, of course, PFA Women's Player of the Year and in the Women's Team of the Year back in 2016. While she was with us, we won the Conti Cup, the FA Cup, and, of course, the WSL as well. She joined Lyon back in 2018, and I remember being absolutely gutted that she'd left, but hearing that she'd obviously gone to the best team in the world, you kind of understood it a bit. And then obviously at Lyon, she had some really tough time with injuries. She broke her leg. She sort of struggled. She's talking openly about the struggles that she had getting back to fitness. And then she joined Everton back in December of 2019. And Everton, who are, of course, having an incredible start to the season, unbeaten in the league so far and having that huge win against Chelsea in the quarterfinals. So it's going to be, it's one of those weird situations where there's a player that comes back playing against you that you loved. You don't want them to win, but you still are really sort of happy to see them, Kyle.
Yeah, of course. And I think that's one of those situations right here that facing old teammates. Yesterday we talked about it with Paul Dickoff, actually, when you face against a team that you do love, and whether it's a team you spent so much time at, you won so many trophies at, what do you do when you score against them? Now, it happened with Kyle Walker as Manchester City took on Sheffield United yesterday. He didn't choose to celebrate. Paul Dickoff was not happy with that.
Paul Dickoff doesn't he? He talks about how he went. Yes,
he loves to celebrate. So if Izzy scores today, I'll be interested to see the reaction from herself, from her teammates, and from the Man City team as well on the bench. Because surely you think, oh, that's good that my friend scored, but not against me.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be really happy for her, but only if we win.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And I feel like, if she gets 1 goal, that's all right. As long as Manchester City win 5-1, I think that's what I'll take. I'll take it like that.
I'll take that too. But of course, Izzy is not the only familiar face that we have that's played for both Manchester City and Everton. Of course, she's on the bench today. One of our stalwart players over the sort of last 8 or 9 years is, of course, Jill Scott. She donned the royal blue of Everton between 2006 and 2013, helping the Toffees to the League Cup, the FA Women's Cup, and of course, in recognition of the 2008 League Cup win, she has a tattoo of the date in Roman numerals on her ankle.
That's very special, isn't it? And with Everton, they've won the FA Cup twice, 1989 and also 2010. Jill Scott being part of that team, again, it shows kind of the memories that she must have there, but she wears sky blue now. She wears the Manchester City colours. She has done for such a while. She's been such an integral part of the team throughout so many years, and I'm guessing she'll be itching to get on that pitch at some point today.
That tackle's insane. Love seeing that. Yeah, Jill Scott's such an incredible character. We've been lucky enough to have her on We're Not Really Here for a couple of the games this season, and she tells the most incredible stories, and she's such an asset to the club and such an asset to, of course, the coaching staff now of the women's team as well. Loads and loads of other links between City and Everton. Of course, we also have Alex Greenwood and Lucy Bronze, who have both enjoyed stints playing for Everton. And of course, our summer recruit, Chloe Kelly, she started for the Toffees after signing from Arsenal. So loads of links.
Yeah, there is. And also, Esme Morgan spent the 2019-2020 campaign on loan with Willie Kirk's side. So I guess we can say there's lots of players that have played for both teams. Obviously, Izzy Christiansen, as we said, she'll be starting today. So they'll all know each other. So I guess in terms of tactics, they'll know what Willie Kirk is like as well as a manager, some of them, and they'll be aware of what he's capable of and what this team are capable of as well. They'll all know each other and they'll all be aware of each other. They've had so much time to prepare for this game and kind of prep for it that they'll be kind of ready and they'll know they'll try to think of what the other one's going to be doing.
think that makes it a little bit tastier as well when you've got so many players that have got links between the clubs. I mean, Chloe Kelly, for example, she has had a fantastic season so far for us, but you feel like she's going to want to start even more playing against her old team. And we've talked through so many of the links there: Alex Greenwood, Lucy Bronze, Jill Scott, and obviously on the other side, Izzy Christiansen. It's really making for a really sort of tasty encounter.
It does indeed. And actually, I think when you think about that opportunity you've been at a side, you've been there for some time, and you're not there anymore, you're playing for another team, you want to show them what they're missing, really, don't you? So how about you, Abby, Caroline? What do you think? The girls that have played against each other or have played for the other side, they're going to want to show up today, aren't they?
Yeah, they're definitely going to want to show up. Like, Kyle, I think when there are players that have played for the other teams, like you're saying about the celebrations, it is a bit difficult. Like, would Chloe Kelly do a massive celebration if she scored today, or I don't know?
Well, she said before the Continental Cup game, she said, "I'm not going to hide. I know it's my former club, but I'm not going to hide." And she got a goal, and she did celebrate. So
how would I feel watching if Izzy did a massive celebration? I don't know.
That iconic knee slide.
Let's
hope that just doesn't happen. I loved it when she's in the right shade of blue, but
100%.
not today, Izzy. Not today.
No, we are of course the current holders. We've got to talk about that. And you've been at both of our cup wins. So how does today feel compared to that? Obviously, it's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very different. Obviously, the one major difference is the lack of fans. It's very, very strange being stood here in this incredible stadium.
Yeah,
with nobody here. It's very odd. The fact that it's in November and not May. It's not a beautiful sunny day.
That's why I got my thermals on today, because I thought it was going to be freezing, and then I got here and I was like, okay, it's not actually as cold as I was expecting.
I mean, there's something comforting in the grey sky being from Manchester, but that's another good omen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very different. I mean, we had record crowds at the previous two. Like, the place was absolutely buzzing. You've got colours everywhere, sea of sky blue on one side, and the players have spoken about when you're attacking to your set of fans and you can hear that encouragement. It just means the world to them, and yeah, it's very, very, very different. But hopefully the same results.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but when we were talking the other day, you were saying in 2017 you were actually quite emotional, weren't you?
I knew you were going to say this. You're ruining my reputation. I'm like a hard Withenshaw girl. Like, no one can know that I get emotional. So obviously being part of the club from the beginning, since the relaunch, and playing for the girls team when I was a teenager. Being in here 2017, I was on the pitch watching Steph walking up the steps. The crowd are all cheering Blue Moons on the playlist, and there was a bit of maybe pitch dust in my eye, but it was a special moment, and it's a sign of women's football. And when I was a kid, we didn't have this wasn't a thing, and it's so amazing, like, from a personal point of view, to see how far the game's come, and the players feel exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean, last year was really special as well. There was something, like we were talking about earlier, there was something really special about watching Kira score here. And also Lauren. I'm absolutely gutted that Lauren can't play today. She's been absolutely incredible, and I know that she'll be so gutted to not be here today in the squad. But yeah, it's got a real different feel to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, as I say, just all we can hope for is the same result.
Yeah.
Just
another 3-0, Just
that, if you don't mind. I mean, I remember Nick Cushion joking before the Birmingham game, and he was like, "Yeah, 4-0 at half time, and I'll probably be able to relax." And it was 3-0 at half time, and he was like, "Even I did not expect that." But what a fantastic performance that was, and the girls still look back on that as one of the all-time best performances. Yeah. So yeah, 3-0 at half time. I think I'd probably take that.
And you were saying, when you spoke to Steph the other day, that it doesn't matter how many times you've lifted a trophy, that feeling is addictive, and it doesn't matter how many times you've done it, you just want to lift another one.
Yeah, it's exactly what she said. I said to her, "Look, you've won it so many times, and does it ever not quite feel as special?" And she was like, her exact words were, "Nope, never. I would do it. As soon as I put it down, I want to lift it back up again." Like, she just loves it. She's a born winner, as are, most of the, if not all of the squad.
And let's hope she does it again today.
Yeah, I hope so. And we'll have our name on the trophy for an incredibly long time, having won it sort of last May, and then the chance to win another one this season, to have two in a season, and then have it till May 2021. So let's make sure our name is on that trophy. Yeah, absolutely.
Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you very much. And Caroline, I am absolutely and totally nodding along with you. And I bet there is so many people at home are as well. 2017 was seriously special. And thinking about it as well, it does still give me goosebumps. I've not been lucky enough I wasn't at 2017 or the 2019 Women's FA Cup finals. It is on my bucket list to see City women play at Wembley. But I have been at Wembley, I want to say 13 times with the men's team, Kyle.
I mean, as we do say, we do joke, the Etihad South, there's been so many times that we have been there. It's such a special stadium for us because who would have thought? Genuinely, when I was growing up, I was too young to get to Wembley for 99, and I thought,
was there.
We're not going to get there again. And then all of a sudden, we get the FA Cup, and then we're there every single year for the League Cup as well. And what a special time, but especially for the FA Cup, just some of the memories of how special FA Cup final day is, it kind of puts things into perspective a little bit, being a football fan, because it's the oldest tradition, and I feel like with the women's team as well now, they are carving their names into history because it's the FA Cup. It's massive. People are going to remember this cup for hundreds and hundreds of years. And Manchester City, they're going to have their team, the name, not just on the men's trophy, on the women's trophy, and on the youth trophy as well.
I like that. Oh, no, for me, growing up, the FA Cup was so unbelievably special. But like you say, dreaming that Manchester City would ever play in the men's FA Cup final, but even contemplating that the women's FA Cup final would be such a special occasion, growing up as a young girl, it didn't cross my mind. So the fact that there is so many women, so many young girls out there that'll be watching the FA Cup, it really, and that's what I say, I'm totally on board with Caroline. It does make me really, really emotional because, like you say, it's so special. And I'm lucky enough to have been at several FA Cup finals with the men's team, and what an incredible day, seeing them lift the trophy, the entire, celebrating with your friends, even, we're not there today, but for everybody watching at home, celebrating with your family and enjoying the experience with your family, it's magical.
It is indeed, and there'll be people watching from home who will probably get emotional as well, because this is the 50th FA Cup final for the women's game, and actually there's so many women that have paved the way for the team that are going out there today. Caroline said she couldn't have dreamed of it because of playing when she was a teenager. I've seen it all over Twitter. I know people who've played the women's game for such a long time as well. They played for Manchester City, and now here they are in the Women's FA Cup final once again. It's so special.
Yeah, and we were lucky enough to speak to some of the squad this week to find out some of their favourite FA Cup memories.
One of my earliest memories is probably watching one of the men's finals.
Watching it at home with my family, it's such a big occasion, one of the greatest kind of cups in English football.
I think as soon as that final was on telly, you always had a bit of a family gathering.
My earliest memory of the FA Cup is actually when we lost to Wigan. I think, every City fan will remember that one. It was such a frustrating game.
My earliest and best memory of watching the FA Cup is probably the first year that City won it. Well, it wasn't the first time they won it, but when they won it in 2011 at Wembley, I was there for the semi-final and then the final, and I'll never forget the celebrations when Yaya Toure scored the winner.
I remember watching the Women's FA Cup on TV when I was like a teenager. That was one of the few women's games that was on TV.
It might have been actually Fulham winning it or Charlton competing, because I remember Farrah Williams, who was a midfielder that I looked up to.
Fulham back in the day, I think it was probably one of the first ever women's games that I'd ever watched, and to see the likes of Marianne Spacey and Rachel Yankee a part of that team, obviously then aspiring to be a part of a final like that in the future.
I was playing for Arsenal when I was kind of 8 to 16, and they got to quite a few FA Cups, so it was great to be able to kind of watch them play.
When we were there for City against Birmingham, and we won, and fans were allowed there too, so that was enjoyable.
I think it's really important for young girls or young people in general to see women's football and the Women's FA Cup on TVs. Just the visibility, be able to watch it and see women playing football is amazing.
It's such a privilege because I know that it helped all of us when we were young to be able to see older players that were playing in the Women's FA Cup, and so that idea that we can be that little bit of a nugget of inspiration for someone else is lovely. The FA Cup final is one of the most prestigious events in the football year, so to be part of such an incredible day at an amazing stadium like Wembley and representing City would be a dream.
Yeah, it's what every young footballer dreams of, and you want to be on the biggest stage, and it doesn't get much bigger.
Knowing that fans can watch it on TV, especially young girls who are inspiring to play football, it's a fantastic feeling, and it's a responsibility that you take on your shoulders.
So here we are. It is FA Cup final day. Manchester City women taking on Everton women as well. And we can go straight over to Wembley as we've got another update from Caroline and Abby.
Aoife, FA Cup final day, they don't come much bigger than that, do they? How's everyone feeling?
Everyone's so excited. This is, the biggest day of the year really for us in our season. We all know how much the FA Cup means to us all, and I just can't wait to see the girls do business and bring it home.
What's today look like for the squad? What kind of things have you been up to today?
Obviously we've been at the team hotel overnight, and so quite chill really. Everyone's very focused, we've all got the right mentality, and really it's just a matter of coming here and doing the work and getting the win.
Imagine everyone's got their own pre-match routine, their own breakfast, their own music they listen to. Who are the characters in the squad on a match day?
The same characters that are quite loud in and out really. Obviously everyone has their own flavour, people have their own same routines that they do. But really we're all together at breakfast time. Obviously we're together in the changing room, and there's a real sense of togetherness, and I can't wait for that to shine through today.
What goes through your head when you first step out onto the pitch for the pitch walk?
Well, it depends really. If it's a normal day at any other stadium, something very different to when obviously you're walking out to Wembley. There's a different feel today because obviously we've not got our supporters with us, but we definitely feel them in spirit, and so really you come here and you're just reminded of how much of a privilege it is to play at a stadium like this, and we're just so excited to try and get the job done over the line.
Going into the game as favourites, I think it's safe to say, does that just add pressure?
I'm not sure. You say pressure, but there's 2 World Cup winners in the starting lineup. There's 2 Champions League winners in the starting lineup, and that's before I've even got to all the internationals. They will feel the pressure, but it won't affect what they do. It won't affect their emotions, and I'd like to think that today we'll be playing the game, not the occasion. For many of these girls, it's not their first rodeo. We've done FA Cups before. And so I'd like to think that those experiences will allow us to keep our emotions in check and really just focus on the football.
And some familiar faces in both squads, does that add a bit of something for those players in particular?
Maybe. I know Alex, for example, she's been in the FA Cup final I think 3 times with Everton, and I asked her this morning, does it change things? And for her she said no, it's just about getting on the pitch and doing the business. I think it's quite an individual thing whether it means something extra to you or not. And I'm sure that there will be some girls who it might mean a little bit extra spice, and I hope that it all just fuels the fire in the right way.
I think a lot of the talk's been about Izzy Christiansen. She's obviously been here and scored in the FA Cup final with City. What do you know about her as a player?
I know that she's quite tenacious. She'll be in and around the pitch. She'll be a key part of Everton's playing out. And I think she'll be a key figure in their possession, and they're looking to get into the momentum and dominate the game. I think we've got so many players on our team, and really I think it's about us. I think it's our game to win and it's our game to lose, and I hope that shines through.
And going back into the dressing room just for final preparations, what's it like in those final moments before a final?
You'd be so surprised. It's business. There's focus, there's a bit of relax, but we also respect the occasion. Emotions will be high, but at the same time it's reined in. We have 90 minutes to spend it over, and we don't want to spend it too quick. We don't want the emotions to come out too soon. So yeah, there'll be a huddle and there'll be some cheers, but not too much. We've got a job to do here. And so I hope that the supporters can see our energy on the pitch, and I hope that it's used in the right way to help us win the game.
What would your team talk be?
These girls don't need any advice from me. They just need to go and do the business. They need to go and do what they do in training day in, day out. They need to go and do what they do in other competitions like the Champions League and the World Cup. They certainly don't need me or even a coach really telling them what to do. These girls are winners, and that's what we expect to do today.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Aoife.
Thanks very much.
absolutely brilliant to see Aoife Mannion on the pitch there at Wembley. I only wish that she was playing. She's, of course, still recovering from that awful injury that she picked up last season. Now, we had Aoife on We're Not Really Here for the first WSL game of the season, which was the draw against Brighton. And she is, without doubt, one of the best guests we have had on this programme. Unbelievably articulate, incredibly knowledgeable, extremely truthful, which you don't always get. So my prediction beyond the FA Cup is that after her football career is over, Aoife Mannion is going to be an incredible either manager or the next big women's pundit, full stop. She's brilliant. Love her.
She is
Love
indeed.
her.
And we can see there the way she's talking about it, the knowledge of the game, but then also she lives it, she's there, she's around it, and being at training, it must be so interesting and weird in a way, being injured and still being around everything that's happening with a long gap in between football as well. But I'm guessing for her, she just relishes in being around that team and around the squad, travelling with them. She knows them all, but also she's still there for morale and to kind of keep the group up. And when she said there about her team talk and actually how they don't need a team talk, they know they've got a job to do, they're going to go out there and do it. I like that attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I love seeing her there. It's wonderful that that City have included obviously the players that are still injured as well, or recovering, in recovery at the minute. It's brilliant to see her there as well. And yes, that's what I mean about her honesty. She's not saying what she wants you to hear. She's giving you a real good, honest opinion. So cannot wait to see Aoife back on the pitch.
Definitely. Now, there's been lots of changes in the women's squad in 2020. Players in and players out as well. And we'll get to some of those a little bit later on. But there's had a big change at the top of the pile. Nick Cushing left us to take up the assistant manager role at New York City FC. And in came Gareth Taylor as his replacement. Now, Gareth, as we can see, was a City player and was part of the 99 squad. And we can see them all getting together there and playing a game as well. Oh, I'll never get how small Paul Dickoff is. He doesn't mind me saying that, I hope. But looking at them in the squad and looking at Gareth Taylor there, he's been around this club. He's been part of it. He knows what it's like as a player as well. He's been giving all of his knowledge to different teams that he's managed in and coached in as well. And he's now taken the helm of Manchester City women's team. And we can see he's won lots of different trophies. And that team is so special to Manchester City fans. I mentioned before that I was too young to be there and be at Wembley for 99, but I still know all of the team. I know of the memories. I know of and I've heard of all of the special moments they gave. And to have someone who lives and breathes Manchester City is so important for us.
Yeah, of course. And Gareth is such a lovely man as well. I've had the luck to have interviewed him a few times, obviously pre being the manager, to talk about the 99 and when he was a City player as well. And then, of course, he has been at the club now for a while. In similar vein to Nick Cushing, who had managed some of the youth teams before he took the position as the women's manager, Gareth had worked through some of our youth teams, and pre the time as women's manager was managing our under-18s team, which is brilliant because they train in the same place that the women's team train. So a lot of our team already knew Gareth and already knew his style as well. And what I also love is the fact that City really value, we are a family, we really value keeping people here at the club and developing not only players, youth players, but also managers as well. And like you say, Kyle, having somebody that's got City blood and understands deep down what it's like to be a Blue is only a benefit.
It is indeed. Right, let's get back over to Wembley as we can hear from Lauren Hemp ahead of the Women's FA Cup final.
Lauren, first of all, how are you? How's your recovery going?
Yeah, it's going really well. It's going good. I'm hopefully be back soon. It's just obviously taken a while. But no, it's going really well and I've been progressing really quickly, so it's positive and I'm looking forward to hopefully being back soon.
Really special day, of course, today. I know how much you'd love to be out there. What does it mean for the girls today?
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously a special day for us all and I'd love to have been out there and playing with the girls, but it's one of them things and something that every footballer goes through at some point. And obviously the girls are really excited and we're really looking forward to hopefully putting on a good show and hopefully producing the result that we want.
Of course, you've scored here in this fixture last season. Can you talk us through how incredible that must have been?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a dream come true, really, because I came off the bench and within 10 minutes I scored and it was a great feeling. I didn't even expect to come on and that was my first time at Wembley, so it was an amazing achievement for me and my family were there watching, so I think they were very proud, and to lift that trophy is something players dream of and hopefully we'll be able to lift that silverware today.
I was talking to Georgia Stanway and she says that every so often she looks back at pictures and videos on that day. Do you do that too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was a few floating around this week as well, because obviously it was this time last year, and it is something that I'll always look back at and remember what I achieved and what the team achieved, and I'm hoping for many more of them occasions in the future, especially with City.
Very different experience today, obviously, without fans. How important do you think that'll be to play?
Yeah, I think obviously we're missing the fans, and it's somewhere where they'd love to be. I mean, I've watched many games in the past as a fan, and it's something that you enjoy probably nearly as much as the players do if you're on the winning team. So I think obviously we'd love for them to be here, and the massive crowd we had last year as well definitely lifted the team. But I think them watching at home is going to be really important for us as well, because knowing we have that fan base who are supporting us even away and at the screens at home, I mean, they'll be a bit warmer, that's for sure. But yeah, hopefully there'll be a massive fan base at home watching.
Of course, not in action today, but Gareth Taylor's spoken a lot about how every player can play a part. What kind of thing does that entail if you're not in the squad, but how can you have an influence?
Yeah, I think, like he said, that every player is a massive influence, whether you're in the squad or not. I think for me, Meg and Ether, it's supporting from behind the stages, really. We've been trying to keep the girls positive. I mean, obviously high-fiving along the way, and I think the subs are going to be a massive influence as well, whether that's impacting the game at the end or just being there as a support base, like cheering each other on after every tackle, every shot. I think that's what we've done really well at Arsenal. The subs definitely lifted the team and were behind us and felt like that 12th man, really. So it's going to be a massive importance for all of us to be a squad together today and hopefully come back with that silverware.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Lauren.
Thank you.
Lauren Hemp there talking ahead of the Everton Manchester City FA Cup final, which is 10 minutes away. But I want to throw it back to last year, all right? The date, the 4th of May 2019, Manchester City women taking on West Ham United women, FA Cup final. We're 2-0 on. She gets put on and she makes it 3 with an incredible chip/volley, half volley into an open goal. And I think it's just a special moment for her to have scored in an FA Cup final. I can only imagine what that feels like, Natalie.
I don't even think I can imagine it. Although at the minute I can't even imagine what it's like to be back at Wembley. It feels so long ago. Right, so kickoff is coming up. We're just going to head back to Wembley now and get Abby and Caroline's final thoughts on the game today.
So I'm not very good at predictions, I'm going to be honest. I know Kyle is very, very good at them, but I'm going to take a plunge. I think it's going to be 2-1 today. I do think we are going to get the win. So I'm feeling quite confident, but I do think that we are going to concede. What about you, Caroline?
I'm a bit more optimistic.
Okay.
I'm going for the clean sheet. I'm going for a 2-0 win. Chloe and Rose. I'm gonna be bold.
Okay, you're even going goal scorers here. I just feel like it's going to be 1-1 and they're going to keep us waiting, but then I think we're going to do it in the end. But I'm going to leave it to the master, Kyle. Go on, tell us what the score's going to be.
The pressure is on right now.
You're really getting a reputation.
I know, yeah, and I've not even been that good recently as well. Right, I'm going to say, do you know what? They've both taken the two that I was kind of thinking of. I think City will score 2 goals. I'll put that out there. I'm going to say 2-1 as well. So, Abby, I'm with you on that one, all right? 2-1 Manchester City, Nat.
And I noticed so Caroline went for goal scorers and everything, Kyle. So
I've stopped doing that. I'm not that good anymore. I'm backtracking a little bit. So yeah.
I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. Everton obviously are so confident at the minute. They're in an incredible run of form. But I do fancy us. I think our experience in the FA Cup, our experience at Wembley, and some of those frankly world-class players that we have in our team will just end up edging Everton. I'm going to say it's going to be really, really tight. 2-1 possibly, but I think towards the end of the game our strength is going to shine through, and I fancy 3-1.
I like that. Okay, I like that. We're both so hesitant. We don't know anymore, do we? Because when you get one right, you think, I'm on a roll. And then you get another one wrong and you think,
I never get one right, though. I'm always well out. So thank you so much for joining us today on We're Not Really Here. Kyle and I will, of course, be back at half-time. And at half-time as well, you'll be really excited to know we have an exclusive interview with Carly Lloyd. Enjoy the game.
This unusual season comes to an end And it's a mixture of fortunes for Manchester City.